So really helping them learn when they're dysregulated, and then having those conversations to help them learn how to regulate themselves. Because if they start to learn how to do this, again, the neurons that fire together, wire together, we want them to be able to recognize when they're becoming too emotional and then be able to do things to regulate themselves and then communicate about that. When we're regulated, it allows us to use the smart part of our brain. It allows us to problem solve. It allows us to communicate openly and create and build a healthy perspective. And most importantly, it allows us to stay connected. We need each other. We're way better together than we are individually. I mean, that's the power of a team. That's a lot of times why we get our kids into sport, is because we want them to learn how to play nice with others. And I know in the workforce, anybody that's got some sort of experience playing high level sports, those are very valuable assets for that company because they know how to work within a team environment. They know what the pressures are because they dealt with them as a student, as a student athlete. It's very valuable. So if you're an athlete, listen out there, it's really important that these are skills that will absolutely last you a lifetime, and keep you away from a lot of the mental health issues that we see with the excessive stress, or higher levels of anxiety than normal, or depression. These are all things that happened to me because I didn't possess this skill set. And, my job now is to make sure that I'm helping other people understand and develop the proper skill set so that they truly get out of sport what they want. And that's to learn how to be successful in the best that they can be. And that's not an easy job on any day. You watch the professionals and they have slumps and they have off days, and everybody's judging them, and the reporters are ripping them apart and asking them very personal questions. Well, somebody that doesn't know how to regulate themselves is not going to be able to go into that environment and do very well. That's why you're going to see a lot of reactions from those athletes, is because they're dysregulated. When they get up and storm out from an interview, they're upset already emotionally, and they're just going to shut down. And so it's a very valuable skill. Some ways to regulate. And I think this is where we get into how do we help you? So, first thing is to recognize that your young person, or me as a parent, is dysregulated. So now is probably not a good time. The car ride to, the car ride from can often be times where we are very dysregulated. I remember several times on the way home after a performance where dad was completely dysregulated. He was so upset about the way that I was played, whether I was playing, on this line or not enough. And then the other parents, they were egging him on and saying different things. So he became very dysregulated. I knew that I couldn't talk to him in that state. And so learning how to regulate ourselves pre, during, and post sporting event, whether it's practice or game, is critically important. And so being able to talk it out is one of the most important things on the car ride too, really setting the stage, getting them nice and calm, getting them focused. If they want to listen to music, let them listen to music. If they want to ask questions, asking them what they want in that moment is very helpful. If it's a therapist that needs to get involved to deal with some of the issues and to learn some skills, fantastic. Getting professional help is never a bad thing. And we really need to look at it completely different than, unfortunately, we do a lot of times. It's not a weakness, it's a strength, because what you're trying to do is enhance the skill set.